Hi, and welcome to the show, brothers and sisters. We're live here Monday, March 23rd. I'm Dean Obidala. As always, even though I'm self-quarantined, I'm here to be your MBS quarantine because I'm ill. I live in New York City, and we're all self-quarantined. It is remarkable what's going on in the city. That usually every day where I live, by the 59th Street Bridge, the air is filled with sounds of car horns and truck horns and people cursing at each other. Now it is filled with silence. There's no sounds at all. There are no cars. Every now and then some cars come over this bridge, but this is rush hour right now. It is 6:06 Eastern time, and it would usually be packed. And that's where we are right now. And, today we got a lot to cover. I want to start quickly. Joe Biden is now getting more active in the media, and he certainly absolutely needs to. He's got to be a presence out there. So today he did what I think is going to be weekly, might be bi-weekly, it's unclear right now, talk direct to camera, giving a speech. Does it online, but the media sort of covered it a little bit. And I'm going to play a short clip. Later we'll play more from it. What I loved here, he pointed out something that I mentioned on the show on Friday. On January 20th, the United States and South Korea both had their first case of coronavirus on their respective soil. The difference is South Korea engaged in massive testing and very sophisticated tracing of people who are sick. Trump administration didn't do mass testing. They had internal problems with the CDC. They wouldn't use the World Health Organization test. The result is we were behind the curve. What is the difference right now? By the way, South Korea has over 50 million people. It's not a teeny country. As of right now, minutes ago, South Korea, country of over 50 million people, has 8,960 cases, approximately 96 dead. The United States of America has over 41,000 cases now and over 500 dead. In fact, today is the first day we had triple-digit deaths in our country of over 100. And here's Joe Biden reminding people of that. And I think this is great. Here's clip number one, please listen. Well put by Joe Biden. It is a failure of preparation and planning, what's going on. And remind you, 225, that is the magic number, 225 days into the most important election of our lives. November 3rd, 2020, yeah, there's still election. We're still doing those things. It's still a thing. That is the most important election of our lives. We know that. It is Judgment Day for all of our values. And I know there is some concern, because I have concerns sometimes. In the last week, we saw Donald Trump's approval rating slightly ticking upwards, especially tied to the handling of this crisis. Two quick things on that to put it in perspective. First of all, the daily Rasmussen poll, that's the one Trump loves because it oversamples. That's a daily poll. Let me give you the numbers. A few weeks ago, Donald Trump had a 52% approval rating in that poll, 47% disapproval. What has happened since then, the last few weeks? As of today, he's down to a 45% approval rating and 52% disapproval. He's been dropping each day. But there are other polls, today a Monmouth poll, that's really a well-respected poll, showing Trump's approval rating on the handling of the virus and overall approval rating slightly ticking up. First of all, I want to put at the outset here, in the times of crisis, generally in America, people rally around the president, and they rally around their executive elected officials, like the mayor, or if they're doing at least a credible job, at least a competent job. So here are the numbers of the Monmouth poll. 50% say Trump's doing a good job on the virus. This came out today. 45% bad. But keep in perspective this. Governors, they asked in the same poll, how do you rate the governor in your state? Democrat or Republican, doesn't matter. How do you rate the governor in your state? What are they doing compared to Trump's 50%? On average, 72% say their governor's doing a good job. 15% saying that he's doing a bad job. That's what you see in the time of war. That's what you see in the time of national crisis. So the fact that Trump only has a 50% approval rating, while governors have 72%, 35% of Americans saying he's doing a bad job versus 18% governors, it shows you it's not much of a pop. It's expected. It is. People do look to their president. Trump has been calling himself a wartime president. I guess he's a wartime president, if that war were to last, let's say 2 weeks, already impatient with the quarantine. Doesn't like. Imagine he was actually a wartime president, a war that went on for years. He would quit. He'd surrender a week in. So he's surrendering now. He wants to surrender to the virus, and that's what you're doing. If this is a wartime, that's the analogy we're going to go with. Saying we're going to stop quarantines, and he's retweeted people saying that today and tweeted things about we can't be worse than the problem itself. That means you're surrendering to the virus. You're letting the virus win. We didn't win. We didn't beat the virus. So why about maybe next week lifting the federal guidelines to suggest people confine themselves? Because all he cares about is the economy. All he cares about the stock market prices. Because to him, that's the key. That's the metric for success. Meanwhile, his own Surgeon General was on the Today Show this morning saying this week it's going to get bad, close quote. It's going to get bad. That's the Surgeon General. That's his guy saying this morning. And here's Trump going, I think like in a week we're going to drop all of this. That's because partly Fox News is saying that. Fox News last night, Steve Hilton, who's got a Sunday night show, literally said the curse is worse than the disease, and saying how the coronavirus kills people, but so does an economic shutdown. And then Trump's tweet about the virus saying the same thing was 10 minutes later. So Trump is ignoring doctors, healthcare experts, and again going to the experts at Fox News. This is where we are. You want to hear a real leader? Here's Governor Cuomo today talking about the Defense Production Act and Trump's refusal. And he's having a press conference now. It might actually be on right now. Don't go listen. I don't want to be lied to. Don't go listen to Trump. We'll sum it up later. We find out what he said. But other governors, the mayor of New York, AOC and others are begging Donald Trump to use the Defense Production Act, which would allow him to tell corporations to start making life-saving equipment, like ventilators, which we're running out of here in New York, and protection equipment, surgical masks, everything along those lines. Trump won't do it. And here's Andrew Cuomo today making the case about what is happening now is that different governors are competing against each other to get vitally needed equipment. Here's number 2, please. And as Governor Cuomo went on to say, they get paid handsomely. It's not like you got to do this and we're not paying you. You get paid. You get paid. And here's why Trump won't do it. Here's Trump yesterday at his press conference spewing stupidity. Clip number 3, please. By the way, you're not nationalizing. This law, the Defense Production Act, was passed in 1950. It's been used by countless Democratic and Republican presidents. It does not take over a business. It remains private property. Essentially, think of it this way. The government gets to skip the line. They get to go, we need this now. We're going to pay you, but put your other orders aside. We are in a time of emergency. It's a crisis. Make our ventilators first. Make the surgical mask we need first. Make the medication we need to keep people alive first. We're all in this together or we're not in this together. That's how it goes. But Trump would rather have these stupid talking points so his right-wing base could be happy about this, and we're going to die in New York. Here's the truth. Let me share what it's like to live in New York right now. The governor of New York and the mayor of New York have told us point blank that in about 2 weeks, we're going to run out of ventilators. We're going to run out of other life-saving equipment. So let me be honest with you, myself, and I'm not alone in this. I don't want to get the coronavirus, but I have to hope if I do get the virus, I get it now, so that there's equipment in the hospitals to keep me alive and increase my chances and loved ones' chances of surviving. And think about that. That's the thought of me and countless other New Yorkers in 2020 in the United States of America. This is where we are, America. This is how bad of a situation we have right now. That you're hoping to get the disease before so that you can get some help and maybe you survive getting it in a month where there's no ventilators and they can't do anything for you and you just die. And Trump won't do the thing he can do. The Construction Act is there. And he won't do it because he doesn't care about me. He doesn't care because I live in a blue state in a blue city. That's the reality of Donald Trump. So this is personal with this guy. It's been personal for a long time. Just his ineptness and incompetence is stunning. And you want to add worse to it? Now you got the Republicans in the Senate with Donald Trump trying to create a Trump slush fund so he can give out $500 billion to companies he picks. This is what's going on now. I'll play a couple of clips and we'll talk about it a little bit more. But there was a second vote today, procedural vote in the U.S. Senate. They didn't get enough votes, the 60 votes to stop debate. They didn't even get 50 votes, frankly, either last night or today on this. Thankfully, the Democrats stood strong. And here's this warning yesterday about what this is really, the proposal right now by Trump and McConnell. Clip number 4, please. Absolutely right. In fact, to summarize the proposed bill, they're still negotiating. They might reach a deal, and I hope they do reach a deal. But it's about a $2 billion bailout. It's going to send a lot of money into the economy. It's vitally needed. There's no disputing that. The good parts are direct payments to families in need. The estimate is about $1,200 per person, per adult, $500 per child, based on income levels. The last version I saw, and it could change, if you're making over $90,000, you won't get anything. But below that, you'll get something. Below $75,000 income, you'll get the full amount. Then you've got some more money paid toward unemployment, vitally needed. Money towards small businesses. Again, that's vitally needed. That's all great. Here's the problem. And one thing is Democrats want to have 4 months of unemployment benefits available, not 3, and to make sure it helps independent contractors, people in the gig economy, and help hospitals. That stuff I'm sure could be worked out. That's a minor thing. Here's the big sticking point. The Republicans want this fund. No, it's never been done before like this. A fund of $500 billion called the Exchange Stabilization Fund, which Democrats are calling a slush fund. You heard that. Because why are they calling it a slush fund? Because Donald Trump's administration, Secretary Manchin, Secretary of Treasury, who's Trump's guy, will do whatever Trump wants, will be able to give out the money to companies he wants with almost no strings, no accountability, and guess what? It's even worse than that. Whoever Trump picks, companies are going to get the money. Trump doesn't have to tell us for 6 months who he gave the money to or how much he gave them. Yeah, let me repeat that because that's stunning. The way the bill is written, this is by design. This is not happenstance. The bill is written so Trump can pick winners and losers in our economy. Like in socialism, because that's what they do in socialism. So the government picks the winners. It's going to pick the corporations they want to give money to. And we don't know for 6 months who they gave it to or how much they gave it to. Is there any doubt Trump's going to give the GOP donor companies? And we're not going to find out for 6 months, meaning like after the election? Are you kidding? This is third world country stuff that they're trying to do. And here's Senator Joe Manchin, who's not a liberal, who's on a Democrat, but a moderate to conservative on the Senate floor, very popular, saying this is ridiculous what you're doing. This is all for Wall Street, not for the average person. Here's clip number 5. Good words by Joe Manchin. He might be a moderate Democrat, to more even conservative on certain issues, but the Democratic Party is about the working women and men of this country. That's who we are about. And somehow Republicans, over the years, while giving tax cuts to the wealthy, have made themselves somehow a champion of the working class. Because Trump will say something now, he's about blue-collar workers in the sector. But we're the ones providing the actual benefits. And I think it's time the Democrats step up and speak up and make it clear we're the ones fighting for the truck drivers and the police officers and the fire people and the ones who take a shower after work every day. That's who we are about. Not the GOP, who did one bill. They passed one major piece of legislation, a tax cut for the wealthy, tax cut for corporations. That's what they did. Didn't trickle down, turned into stock buybacks. So last week, a caller called in and said, where is the Democrats' proposal? How come we're letting the Republicans go to the left of us on this issue? We are the party that believes in government helping people because they don't believe in it. And that caller was absolutely right. Well, today I'm happy to say, a short time ago, Speaker Pelosi stepped up and said the Democrats are unveiling their own version of a stimulus plan. We don't have all the details, but here are the broad strokes in her statement a short time ago about what the Democrats, and I'm so proud of the Democrats and Speaker Pelosi for doing this, to make it clear to America, here's the Republican bill. Your corporate executive, it's great. Your working class, not so much. Our bill is all about the working class. It's all about lower income people. It's all about families. The corporations got a massive tax cut in 2017 because of Trump and the GOP. They have record profits, record bank accounts right now. They did stock buybacks. The big companies can survive. And if there's one or two that can't, like airlines and stuff, you can do bailouts that. I understand that, or loans. Not bailouts, loans for them. But for small businesses and working class Americans, we have to help them. That's the right thing. And here's I'm going to read you some of the proposal. It's not been drafted yet. It's supposed to come out any minute. It might come out while I'm on the show. If I get more information, I'll give it to you. Statement by Speaker Pelosi, very clear. The Senate Republicans' bill, as presented, puts corporations first, not workers and families. Today, House Democrats will unveil a bill that takes responsibility for the health, wages, and well-being of America's workers. It's called the Take Responsibility for Workers and Families Act. Here are some of the details. And again, we don't have a written bill, but we have broad strokes. For workers and small businesses, first of all, any money that goes to corporations, it says it can't go to CEO pay or stock buybacks. It must go to small businesses, fast relief first to them, small businesses, grants and loans. That's really important. Strengthen unemployment insurance. For families, it says direct payments to Americans' families in a robust way that strengthens the child tax credits and earned income tax credit. That's really important. So it's like a holistic approach. It's earned income tax credit, which simply means you pay less taxes for people who are middle class and have kids or lower class paying taxes. And you're going to get money, direct money, which you need. And then it talks about paying coronavirus treatment free, making coronavirus not just the testing, but treatment free for all Americans. I love that. We're getting closer to the care that we deserve in this country, where you get health care as a right. I want this. It says for doctors and hospitals, it gives hospitals and other health institutions more funding for treatment, and it calls on Donald Trump to do what everyone's calling him to do, use the Defense Production Act immediately. Asked about the schedule, Speaker Pelosi said she hoped the House vote on this bill will come this week. I hope it comes tomorrow. And I hope America sees, here's the Democratic proposal. It is focused on middle class, lower class, and small businesses. And I want to play a clip of Liz Warren, who we all know has been a champion against big corporations getting profits from us and bailouts. But even Senator Warren says in certain situations, she said this today, a few hours ago, some of the big companies should get money too. Because if they're gone, that's an employer gone. If Delta goes under, Southwest Airlines goes under, it affects not just the executives, but there should be strings attached to that money. So that money that we're giving to them can't go for CEO raises, can't go for corporate executive raise buybacks. It's got to go to employees and make sure you keep employees working. I wish they did it even more detail. Say, if you take our money, you can't lay off anyone for X amount, whatever the day, 6 months, a year. Look, we're giving you money to keep you afloat. You can't then lay off workers. You can lay off executives, but not workers. Here's Liz Warren a short time ago. Clip number 6, please. So here's the deal. Republicans and Democrats and Republicans all understand we've got to move fast. We have to help working Americans who are struggling. No doubt about it. The difference is the Republicans want to make it toward Wall Street. The Democrats want to make it towards Main Street. They want to help working class Americans. And we should, because in the big picture, this is not even class warfare stuff. This is not at all about this. 70% of our gross domestic product in our nation, which is simply our economic output, 70% of our economy, let's put it this way, 70% of our economy, where does it come from? Consumer spending. That's where 70% of our economy is. If consumers don't have money, we're going to be in a recession/depression for an extended period of time. Now, I really think all the money now, first people, employees, workers, those laid off and those furloughed, get money and as close as they can to their income level they had before. Second, small businesses right behind them. And third, big corporations that show they're not sitting on millions and millions of dollars in their bank account, that are certainly struggling, and that if they go under, it has a ripple effect of affecting many, many thousands of workers. The airlines are really in tough times. I mean, I'm not joking. This is something I do a lot of reason stuff, and I'm telling you, Delta, United, the lesser ones, JetBlue, they could go away. I mean, not all of them. There might be more mergers. We're down to 2 airlines. Good luck getting a decent price after that. But they've lost, they're saying 40, 50%, 60%. They're saying the only people flying right now are those who have to fly. Marriott is laying off a huge chunk of their workforce because no one's going to hotels. So hotels are struggling a great deal as well. There are certain industries you've got to help out. But I really think it should be loans, not free money. Small companies, some of it could be free, no doubt about it. But I want to get your reaction. What do you think of this? What do you think the Republicans, the idea, are you at all surprised that in a time of a crisis, they try to use it to create a slush fund that Donald Trump, and that's what this is, folks. Let's not play any game. This is so Donald Trump to give money to companies he loves. And for 6 months, we don't know what companies he gave money to or how much he gave. And we all know Trump and what he's about. He's going to reward companies that help GOP through donations and hurt Democratic companies. There's no doubt. And we won't even know it's last election. It is so sinister they put in there. So Democrats got to hold strong on this. I hope the House bill, what do you think of the House bill? And what do you think of the priorities? Should it be big business at all? Should any big corporation get a loan or any help? Or should it just be working Americans? Women and men in trouble, their families in trouble, and small businesses. I'd love to hear from you, 866-997-4748. Be right back with more of the Dino Vidala Show and your calls right here after this.